I'm William Morton, the principal of John Glenn High School. I welcome you this day for the John Glenn High School commencement ceremony. This ceremony is being broadcast by live streaming. I would like to announce that after the recessional, that seniors will be in the auxiliary gymnasium, in the gymnasium to the east to meet you. The auxiliary gymnasium, of course, again, is at the east end of the building. And now staying seated, would you please prepare for the processional of the John Glenn High School class of 2012.
Thank you. You may be seated. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Thomas Knapp, the president of the class of 2012. And on behalf of the John Glenn High School and the members of the senior class, we welcome you to our annual commencement ceremony. We are privileged to have all of you in attendance today to honor and recognize the class of 2012. Before today's program begins, the class of 2012 requests that the audience remain seated throughout the entire ceremony until the graduates have completed the recessional. Finally, we ask that you silence all cell phones in order to preserve an atmosphere of honor and respect. Now would you please stand and join as a senior class, senior members of the combined choirs sing the national anthem. Thank you. You may be seated.
Good afternoon. I am Mr. Christopher Winchell, the assistant principal at John Glenn High School. Prior to my introductions, I would like to take a brief moment to make a statement about safety and well-being. There is a very, very slight chance of severe weather. If we were in a situation where we had a warning of some sort that required us to take action, we would pause the graduation ceremony and we would give you further instructions from this podium in the unlikely event that we did have severe weather today. Thank you. At this time, I would like to introduce to you the people sharing the stage this day. Mr. Richard Reese, Superintendent of John Glenn School Corporation. Mrs. Janice Ryan, President of the John Glenn School Board of Trustees. Mr. Dennis Holland, Vice President of the John Glenn School Board of Trustees. Mr. Jeff Johnson, Secretary of the John Glenn School Board of Trustees. Mr. Mike Dalby, Member, John Glenn School Board of Trustees. Mr. William Groves, Member of the John Glenn School Board of Trustees. Mr. Thomas McCormick, Member of the John Glenn School Board of Trustees. Mr. Kurt Pletcher, Member, John Glenn School Board of Trustees.
Mrs. Beth Schmeltz, John Glenn High School Guidance Counselor. Mrs. Sarah Rippey, John Glenn High School Guidance Counselor. Mrs. Patty Slough, John Glenn High School teacher and class of 2012 sponsor. Mrs. Julie Parent, John Glenn High School teacher and class of 2012 sponsor. To my left and scattered about this room are the many teachers and staff members of John Glenn High School, and to the many of you who have come from near and far, we are especially glad to have you here this day. Welcome again. You will notice that several seniors are wearing gold cords. These cords signify membership in the National Honor Society. Students are selected by a faculty committee based on the cardinal principles of scholarship, leadership, service, and character. In addition, we have several students who have been awarded Indiana Academic Honors Diplomas. This year, the state of Indiana will award 37 Academic Honors Diplomas to John Glenn students. To earn an Academic Honors Diploma, students are required to take more classes and a more rigorous course load. We also have 4 students as members of this class who will be awarded a Technical Honors Diploma by the state of Indiana. To earn this diploma, students must work toward a professional internship or industry-based work experience. There are also many students in the class of 2012 who have been awarded Indiana Core 40 diplomas. This year, the state of Indiana will award 74 Core 40 diplomas to John Glenn students. Finally, I would like to identify the students in this senior class who have made the commitment to serve in the different branches of the United States military. Those of you who have made this commitment to protect our freedoms, please stand and be recognized. We congratulate the class of 2012 for placing an importance on hard work and dedication to academic studies. Thank you.
Do you feel like you now can see light at the end of the tunnel? You've had 3 days since the formal end of high school, and your real education has just begun. All of us today hope you feel great, and I realize that all of you have different feelings, different thoughts at this very moment. But here are some final words. About a month ago, spring, of course, came early. I was sitting on my back porch, and I heard buzzing, chewing, gnawing. So I investigated, and what I found out is that I have some unpaying guests. Carpenter bees, or wood bees, have made their way into my porch, and they're having a good time. As of last night, they're still there. What that did is it caused me to think about something that I had heard a long time ago, and I went to look for it. I left it in my office at this very moment, so I won't be able to read it to you, so I'm going to tell you about it. But it's from the very last page of the classic Walden by Henry David Thoreau. On that very last page, and I ask you to go and look at it, there exists what I call a tall tale. And while in his solitary 2 years at Walden Pond in Massachusetts, Thoreau wrote about a bug. And at this point, I was going to read what he said and read the words that he used, but now I've got to tell you about it. An egg had been deposited by a wood-boring insect in a living tree. And the egg didn't hatch. And it was there dormant for a long time. Years later, the tree is cut down and it was made into lumber. Time passed, and then the lumber was used to make a dining room table. And then years pass again, and someone places a very warm pot on the table, and guess what? The egg hatched. And it took many more years for the insect to work its way and chew its way to the surface. Could that happen? I haven't asked a science person if this could happen because maybe in the end it doesn't really matter. Thoreau had gone to the woods because he was thinking about his life, and he was asking a lot of questions. And in so doing, it is cause for us to always do the same. Members of the class of 2012, you are undoubtedly going to spend many of your years like that bug, chewing and chewing your way to the top. You, like that bug, are going to run up against what seems to be unwaverable and unalterable facts of life. We call them realities. And we hope that sooner or later we'll feel like we hope that we won't always feel like we're beating our head against the walls, and that we'll be able to chip away at what seems to be the unchangeables, that we can chew our way to the top to see daylight. Today, I hope as you hear that story, and I hope you read it on that last page of Walden, and you're cheering that bug on. And here we are today, all of us, 1,500 plus people here to cheer you on. The tough economic times have been in place all of the days that you've been in high school. You ask, and I think many of the folks who are young at heart ask this same question, are we ever going to see our way clear? Will the job match my skills? Will that job come? Will I make it to the daylight? Thoreau wrote this in the 1840s. The 1840s. So what did he mean? Two things. I think there are probably many. First, when you get frustrated with what seems to be the things that don't change in life, the realities that don't change, be patient. Live with patience. Remember the challenge posed in that serenity prayer that you must sort out that which you cannot change or can't be changed and change the things you can. And to work for the necessary strength to accept that which cannot be changed and the courage to change the things that can be changed, and finally to attain the wisdom to know the difference. The wisdom to know the difference. You and I can't change each other. That's a real fact. Here's another one, that life isn't fair. And it doesn't come out the same. In the last 2 weeks, some of you have experienced that. There have been mistakes. It doesn't come out even. Why are folks who work so hard behind some of the folks who don't seem to work as hard? These are unchangeable realities, so live with patience and find the wisdom to work with the realities as you watch Washington, D.C., as you feel what you feel regarding our economic situation. And just like the bug, there are going to be days when you don't understand why you can't get to the daylight. And then all of a sudden there will be pinholes of light, moments of hope, because guess what? There's one thing you can change, and that's yourself. You can change yourself for the better. Change then happens for all of us like the way dominoes fall, one by one. Folks who decide to positively affect the world. And here's the last point, the message from Thoreau's bug. Don't miss the good things that happen. Don't miss the progress that you make. Even when you feel like you're hitting your head up against that wall, because many of these things will be the small achievements in life. They're the tiny pinholes of light, and they'll allow you to make it to some new level, to some new surface. And because of these little things, they will be your small successes of growth, because it's just begun. Remember, your education just began, the real education. These may include the moment you finally finish something that you'd procrastinated forever. You finally did something and completed it, that the thing you felt undesirable. That's an achievement. Or the moment you really listen to someone, you listen to that person who's been waiting for someone to hear her out, him out. You just listened, and guess what? You didn't make a comment. You didn't make a judgment. That is very, very big, but little. Don't miss it. Maybe you just walk away from a useless argument, or perhaps you'll bring some awful habit to a halt. Or you just experience today, because you awoke to the fact that you've missed the beauty and the meaning of too many days, and this may be the only day we really have. Like the bug, don't miss those moments. And so from the 1840s at Walden Pond to you, dear seniors, and may I say that to you for the last time, remember that after this moment of being at the top of the mountain, there will be some times when you will experience some darkness, and you'll feel frustrated, and like that bug, you're going to feel like you can just see the light at the end of that tunnel and that you're banging your head against the wall, but learn to live with patience. And secondly, enjoy the small successes of growth in your life. Don't miss them. You are like that bug. Your whole story hasn't even really begun. It's just beginning to be told. It's like being buried in the ground and waiting for the moment to break forth. So keep buzzing like those bees. Keep climbing to the top. And never stop chewing. Because one day, even if it takes 30, 40, 50, or 60 years, the moment will come when you will clearly see the daylight. The John Glenn High School class of 2012's valedictorian is awarded to Mr. Ryan Williams. Ryan is the son of Paul and Sarah Williams, and during Ryan's high school career, Ryan has participated in football, track, National Honor Society, the Varsity Club, and the Spanish Club. And during his time away from school, Ryan spends time as a member of the Liberty Township Volunteer Fire Department. After 7 high school semesters, Ryan's GPA is 4.194. On a scale of 4, Ryan plans to attend Purdue University and major in engineering. Ladies and gentlemen, I am honored to present to you Mr. Ryan Williams.
Before I get started, I would just like to take a moment to thank all who have made this day possible. Thank you to all the parents, teachers, and friends who have helped us reach this important milestone in our lives. And most of all, thanks to God for giving us this day to celebrate all that we have achieved over the past 13 years. Today is a day of great importance and meaning. It is a day in which we have reached a major milestone in our lives. It is a day which we, the class of 2012, have been anxiously waiting for 13 long years. It is a bittersweet day of joy for our accomplishments, reflection on the past, and hope for the future. But what makes this day truly significant is the transition into a new chapter of our lives. As we walk across the stage and receive our diplomas, we leave the world of childhood behind us. At the same time, we enter into a new world, a world of responsibility and consequences, the adult world. We leave behind the days of teachers, homework, and Friday night football games, the days in which our biggest responsibilities include doing homework, cleaning our rooms, taking out the trash, or being home by curfew, and the days in which the biggest consequences we face are being grounded or given detention. We are no longer burdened by the inability to choose our own paths, but we also lose the comfort of being simply told what to do. We are no longer under the constant supervision and guidance of our elders. Instead, we are left with only our own experiences to guide us. This transition from childhood to adulthood will be a challenging time for us. We will all take the next step of our lives in different ways. Some of us will be continuing our education, others will be entering the workforce, and some of us will serve our country in the military. No matter which path we have chosen, there are 3 traits that we can adopt that will ensure success in the future: responsibility, a good work ethic, and integrity. In the adult world, we are given many freedoms, but with this freedom comes great responsibility. We are now responsible for providing for ourselves. We must make our own decisions. No longer can we rely on others to get us through our lives. Instead, we must realize that there are consequences in the adult world. Every decision that we make can affect us for the rest of our lives. In order to be responsible, we must have a good work ethic. While there are indeed consequences for being irresponsible, there are also many rewards for working hard. Each day
we must strive to be the best at whatever we do. We must be the best students, the best employees, the best soldiers, the best people that we can be. We must never be satisfied with anything less than our best. It may seem overwhelming to take on the responsibility and work ethic needed to be successful, but it will come easier if we always practice integrity. We all have values, and those values allow us to know the difference between right and wrong. By simply choosing to do what is right at all times, we will live a life that is bound for success, because doing the right thing counts for a lot in the real world. Without our values and integrity, we have nothing. I'm sure you haven't been counting, but I am sure that you've noticed that I've used the word "we" a lot during the speech, 33 times to be exact. That is because the step into adulthood is one that we all must take. Each and every one of us must strive towards responsibility, good work ethic, and integrity. As the great coach Vince Lombardi once said, the dictionary is the only place that success comes before work. Hard work is the price we must pay for success. I think you can accomplish anything if you're willing to pay the price. I am confident that we all can do this. We can all be successful because we, the class of 2012, are willing to pay the price.
John Glenn High School is pleased to announce the class of 2012 salutatorian Elizabeth Alexander. She is the daughter of Thomas and Carolyn Alexander. Ellie Elizabeth is a member of the National Honor Society, the Senior Board, the track team, the Rhythm Express Show Choir, the theater company. She's been a part of the state championship team, the Spell Bowl team, 4 state championships, and she has also been a member of the League of Extraordinary Falcons. Ellie's GPA after 7 high school semesters is 4.088. She plans to attend Indiana University, Purdue University in Indianapolis, and pursue a degree in pre-medicine. Ellie's career goal is to become a trauma unit surgeon. Ladies and gentlemen, it is an honor to present to you Miss Elizabeth Alexander.
It feels a little strange being here today with all of you. After the gown pickup, college and career decisions, talks with counselors, and final exams, it is truly amazing that we've managed to finally make it to graduation. In fact, it seems a little impossible. Not that I'm complaining. It's time to face what's been staring us straight in the eyes. We're getting really old, guys. We've been through a lot this graduating class, and we've got so much more ahead of us, too. In his famous Iliad, Homer wrote, "You will never be lovelier than you are now. We will never be here again." Sitting in these chairs, the truth of that statement is, for the first time, coming to fruition. We've spent years wishing for this, whether it be while struggling through a test, writing a research paper, or simply dragging ourselves out of bed before noon. And while beauty may be in the eyes of the beholder, these days have truly been our youth. And after today, or after this summer, it's off to the real world, where there will be no more wearing sweatpants every day, living off of school-provided meals, and staying up ridiculously late on Facebook in order to put off that project. You guys all know what I'm talking about. Well, we've still got college, so maybe not that much will change. Regardless, we will never get back the atmosphere that helped make us so successful throughout all of these years. These times, for all their faults, have been lovely, and we can never get them back. While this may seem like a sobering line of thinking, it doesn't have to be. We've got bright futures ahead of us, as Mr. Morton's numerous motivational speeches have never failed to remind us. In fact, senior year is one perpetual question. What's next? It seems like everyone we talk to wants to know, what are your plans for next year? Have you decided on a major? What do you want to do with the rest of your life? All year, our focus has been on what lies ahead of us. Certainly, there's nothing wrong with thinking ahead, but today, let's forget just for a minute about what's next and focus on what's now. Let's take a second to sit back and recognize all that we've accomplished in the last 13 years. We've got the rest of our lives to worry about paying bills, 401ks, and providing for a family. Sorry, Mr. Ritchie. Just for today, just for right now, let's remember all the people who got us here, from our parents, to our teachers, to the friends sitting beside us. Without those people, we wouldn't be waiting in silent anticipation for freedom. Just as importantly, if not more so, let's take a minute to remember the man who deserved to be here, but isn't. Let's bask in this moment. We should make sure to lock in our minds all of the memories shared, wisdom gained, and friendships forged in these halls. When you think back to all the times we've had here, prom, homecoming, graduation, we've got endless reasons to be thankful. As country singer Brad Paisley once said, "Have no fear. These are nowhere near the best years of your life." Looking back at how great our experiences have been here, knowing that even better things are yet to come is truly a cause for celebration. Congratulations to the class of 2012, my classmates, my friends. Thank you.
Members of the class 2012, will you please prepare yourselves for graduation? Superintendent Richard Reese, I present to you the membership of those meeting the requirements to graduate in the class of 2012.
Mr. Morton, I've examined the high school records of the members of John Glenn's class of 2012, and I find these students have completed the necessary local and state requirements for graduation from John Glenn High School. Mrs. Janice Ryan, President of the John Glenn School Corporation Board of Trustees, will award diplomas to the members of the class of 2012. I ask Mrs. Rippey and Mrs. Smeltz, John Glenn High School guidance counselors, to call the class roll.
With the junior class marshals, Emily Schmalzried and Kara Oakes, take their positions for the purpose of moving our seniors to graduation.
Ryan Adam Williams. Elizabeth Jane Park Alexander. Kimberly Ann Lord. Charles Lloyd Dreesen. Kirsten Elizabeth Brown. Mackenzie Rain Hill. Jacob William Keldson. Jonathan Scott Stewart. Amanda Lynn Bogard. Thomas Robert Knapp. Molly Elizabeth Rudecki. Thomas Sterling Adamson. Hayden Michael Alexander. Connor Jordan Allison. Joshua F. Almager. Joshua Scott Anderson. Jade Alexandria Anspaugh. Connor Scott Bear. Ryan M. Ballinger. Kyle Stephen Beecham. Brooke Caitlin Bent. Kylie Joe Blair. Benjamin Mark Bolin. Emily Louise Bowen. Michaela Elizabeth Broker. Rafael Castro. Ariel Alyssa Clark. Victoria Ann Clark. Jake Edward Cody. Samantha K. Collings. Crystal Marie Cribbs. Jesse Evan Darty. Addison T. Davis. Luke Allen Devers. Candace Joy DeFluter. Alexandria Elizabeth Jevietsky. Trevor Paul Duff. Anna Christine Dunn. Benjamin Adam Ike. Kayla Nicole Elder. Anthony Wayne Eldridge, Jr. Buddy Mark Farnsworth. Carrie Lynn Finch. Terry Lee Fort. Zachary David Frame. Daniel Ron Francis. Liliana Garcilazo. Colton James Gast. Paige Marie Gawker. Brooke Nicole Grahl. Brandon Edwin Green. Jordan Michael Groves. Nolan Ryan Hamilton. Nicholas Alexander Havranek. Sierra Lynn Horvath. Paige Julia Howe. Aaron Douglas Herford. Jasmine Ann Jar. Kurt Allen Johnson. Jesse Scott Johnston. Miranda Ruth Caffanteris. Andrew Stephen Kenny. He gets his name called twice. Yeah. Andrew Stephen Kenny. Adam Richard Kickbush. Hannah Marie Kloppenstein. Brian Keith Krasuski. Haley Jordan Kubiak.
Hannah Frances Leda. Dylan Robert Lehigh. Harmony Joy Lichtenbarger. Mackenzie Angela Lowry. Jenna Lynn Lusick. Adam Joe Majerzik. Mackenzie Lynn Mance. Gabrielle Simone Merrick. Allison May Marsh. Corey Joe McCullough. Nicholas Scott McIntosh. Christian Michael Mers. Nathan Andrew Moore. Brelyn Taylor May Newland. Casey Jean O'Brien. Samantha Ann Palmer. Cody M. Phillips. Christopher Anthony Picello. Jesse Lee Pittman. Caleb Jean Pletcher. Stephanie Jordan Radant. Gage A. Rector. Hayden Roger Redlin. Brooke Elizabeth Reed. Jessica Emily Rex. Devin Douglas Rice. Mariah Jean Rippey. Meredith May Rogers. Joshua David Rao. Stephen Dakota Radinsky. Cody Rush. Caitlin Valera Russell. Anna Josephine Schmalzried. Lisa Marie Sells. Michael Anthony Sheldon. Selena Ariel Sherwood. Amber Ann Simpkins Short. Sierra Fawn Simon. Jessica Elizabeth Small. Dustin Ryan Smith. Travis James Smith. Michael Snyder. Thomas Eugene Sobiek. Marissa Irene Sokol. Sarah Marie Stewart. Morgan Russell Taylor. Shelby Elaine Tetzloff. Abby Gail Thacker. Lainey Sue Thornton. Sarah K. Traversa. Elizabeth Lynn Tucker. Wednesday Marie Turner. Emily Christine Vandervelden. Joseph Richard Berkler. Zachary Allen Wallace. Robert Lee Welsh. Justin E. Wezolowski. Lincoln Walker Wisman. Miles Michael White. Autumn Renee Whiteman. Kelsey Brooke Williams. Taylor Thomas Williams. Patrick John Wolf. Todd Michael Zahner. Nicole Marguerite Dillon.
Mr. Reese.
Do you have some more to read? Ready? Will the graduating students please stand? Members of the John Glenn class of 2012, it is with great pleasure I declare you graduates of the John Glenn High School. Congratulations.
It is my duty and honor as president of the class of 2012 to announce that we are now graduates of John Glenn High School. Will you please take your tassel with your right hand and move it to the left with me? This will signify our graduation from high school. On behalf of my classmates, I would like to thank everyone for being with us here today to support and honor John Glenn's graduating class of 2012. Please remain seated until the recessional is complete. Thank you.